What's up, everyone? We are going through the Sermon on the Mount. It's the largest collection of Jesus' teachings anywhere in the Bible, and it spans from Matthew chapter 5, 6, and 7. And the reason that we have been going through this is that we want to learn to take Jesus seriously. Let me refresh your mind on something we talked about a few weeks ago. In the Bible, the most commonly used word for someone that wants to follow Jesus, for someone that wants to take Jesus seriously, is not the word that we use in our culture. We typically would call that person a Christian. But in the Bible, the most commonly used word is actually this word mathetes, or disciple is how we would translate it. And you're probably asking like, okay, dude, but why does that even matter to me, Parker? Here's why. In our time, the word Christian has no solid meaning. What is a Christian, right? If you're sitting with someone, answer that question. What is a Christian? How would you say what a Christian is? You might say like, I don't know, like someone who goes to church, or someone who goes to youth group, or someone who goes to other countries to play with orphans, right? Like, what is a Christian? The problem with this word that I see is that it's way too broad. It doesn't have any sting to it any longer. It doesn't have weight to what it means. It's a word that can mean different things to different people. And oftentimes those types of words are not helpful. It's not helpful to have foggy ideas about what your faith means. See, the word disciple is totally different though. It means student, one who learns. And throughout the New Testament, people who want to follow Jesus and love Jesus with everything they got, these people are called disciples of Jesus. That's not vague. It means the students of Jesus, a person who learns from Jesus. So what are we learning from Jesus? What is it that we're trying to learn from him? Life. That's what we're trying to learn about whenever we come to Jesus, right? We're trying to learn about life. What life really is all about as taught by the creator of life. So I don't want you to just be a Christian. I want you to be a disciple of Jesus. I want you to learn from Jesus about life and how to follow what he says about life. That's why we're going through the Sermon on the Mount. This is a great spot to learn from Jesus about life. So if you got a Bible, open up to Matthew chapter 5 with me today, please. Today, Jesus is going to teach us, his students, about what we are going to call the law of reciprocity. You're going, what on earth does that mean? All it means is getting even. Jesus is going to teach us about the law of reciprocity, which means getting even. Let's start. Matthew chapter 5, verse 38 says this. You've heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth. So this verse is a summary of the law of reciprocity. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth literally means, dude, whatever you do to me, I'll do to you. If you punch me and you take out my eye, I get to punch you back and take out your eye, right? If again, we get into a fight and you hit me and my tooth falls out, which has happened to me before, by the way, then that means that I get to get even and I get to punch you so hard that your tooth falls out. And if we're being honest, we live this out all the time. See, because there's two sides to the law of reciprocity. There's the negative side that I just talked about, and then there's the positive side. The positive side is when someone does something nice to you, and so you do something nice back, right? Someone gives you a gift, and so we just feel like I have to give them a gift as well. This happens to me all the time whenever I'm given a gift. Maybe you get complimented. Someone goes, dude, those are rad shoes. I love those. And you say, thanks. I love your shirt, right? You want to compliment them back. When someone's nice, typically we're nice back to them. The law of reciprocity says, whatever you do to me, I will do to you. I want to get even. That is the law of reciprocity. But the law also has a negative side. That's what I was talking about earlier. When someone does something negative to us, we want to do something negative back. When someone unfollows us, well, you go, okay then, and you unfollow them. If they talk smack about you, you go around and you spread rumors about them and talk smack about them. If they hit you, you punch them right back, right? Whatever you do to me, I will do to you is what the law of reciprocity says, even if it's negative stuff. So let's just be honest. Our world is full of the negative side of reciprocity, especially right now. I'm not on social media right now because I am just sick and tired of watching people that I love tear each other apart. This is how it always works, and I'm sure you've seen this. One person says something, and then another person goes and attacks them. And so the person who said the thing at first, man, they just go after that other person, and you just watch page after page of people attacking each other and gaining momentum and gaining steam. And by the time they're done fighting, they're not even fighting about what they originally started about, right? I mean, you could see this on any YouTube video. You go through the comments. You could see this on your grandma's Facebook posts as your grandma and your uncle or aunt start fighting together, to Instagram comments. Everyone wants to get even with each other in our culture. Maybe you've been treated like that. Maybe you've posted something and then you just get attacked by people. If you have, you know it's terrible. But if you slow down long enough before you fire back something mean to the other person to continue the law of reciprocity, I think what you'll realize is why we often do this is because we are hurting. When someone says something about us, it hurts. It feels like our honor, our name, who we are is attacked, and so we come back. It feels like who we are is at stake, and we want to defend ourselves, and we want to tear down the other person as a way to help ourselves stand taller. And you got to stop for a second and think about when you've done this. Go ahead, take a sec, seriously. Go back and think about a time in your life when you've done this, when you felt this need to go and get back at another person when they've done something to you. If you've had that experience, which I'm going to say most of us probably have, you know that this is a terrible way to live life. The wise sage Yoda, he described how we get here when he said, fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. When we follow the negative side of reciprocity, it's like a snowball, dude, falling down a mountain. And if you ever watched that or you've seen that, right, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as it goes. And we'll end up adding to the anger, the hate, and the suffering in people's lives when we lead into these types of things. And this is why Jesus says this. Read with me in verse 39, the beginning of it. He says this, okay, look, I tell you though, remember the law of reciprocity when all these people are doing this stuff, but instead I tell you as my followers of Jesus, do not resist an evil person. That means don't ever keep the negative side of reciprocity going. It means stop the snowball effect. Jesus is saying, look, even if it hurts you, don't resist an evil person. Don't respond to your uncle's post that fires you up on the inside. It only adds snow to the snowball. When your sister's mean to you, don't be mean back. When your friend talks smack about you, don't spread rumors about them. Don't resist an evil person. Jesus knows that the world is going to do what we have seen it do. The world is going to keep snowballing and get bigger and bigger towards the negative side of reciprocity. The world is going to keep the snowball of hate and anger and suffering going and going and going, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. That is the world that you and I live in today. But this is the world that Jesus wants his disciples to change. When Jesus tells us not to resist an evil person, he's telling us to be like trees to the snowball of negative reciprocity. Have you ever seen a big snowball when it's rolling down a hill hit a tree? If not, I'm sure you could just imagine what happens, right? The snowball blows apart. It stops dead in its tracks. Disciples of Jesus, what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to stop the negative side of reciprocity. We are not called to add to this snowball of hate. And this is so countercultural for what we have right now. We think that to stop negativity, right, we have to create another negative snowball and slam into the first one. And all that this does when we act like this, it just adds to the negativity. See, deeply, you probably know that Jesus is right. Negativity only leads to more negativity. Your job as a follower of Jesus is to stop it in its tracks by not resisting, by not adding more negativity to the world around you. Jesus teaches us not to keep this negative cycle going. I want to ask you, will you take him seriously? It's going to be hard. I know it's going to be hard. This last couple weeks have been hard for me to not jump in and add to the negativity. Will you follow Jesus? Take him seriously, even if it's hard. Next time your brother and you are fighting, will you keep the cycle going or will you not resist and will you end the cycle? Next time you see something on social media that you don't like, are you going to tear that person up in the comments? Or just simply pray for them, pause for a second in your mind, and just scroll right past their page. See, Jesus isn't saying we shouldn't do anything. He's teaching us not to do something negative, not to keep this pattern going. You, as one of Jesus' students, can change the way your world works. You can stop the negative side of the law of reciprocity. Will you do it, though? The world needs you to do it. Just take a look at how negative everything is around us right now. Do not add to that. Follow Jesus and don't resist an evil person. Jesus didn't resist, and he was killed for it. But his death brought the world its freedom. What could happen if you followed Jesus and you didn't resist? Let's find out this week as we go and live this out. Go out, please, and stop adding to the negativity, friends. We'll see you guys out there.